Care is a community health center, which means we provide physical health care, dental care, social services, and behavioral health to everyone in the community. It's offered at low price or no price, depending on the individual, and it's fantastic care. We've been doing it for over 50 years, and we're so pleased to be able to serve the community. So personally, I serve as the leader of a healthcare organization that serves the most vulnerable. We serve sick people every day. So I was the leader at the helm during a time when there were more questions than answers, when we couldn't get the equipment that we needed to keep our staff safe, when it was a challenge, when the prices were jacked up 200%, and worrying every day that the decisions we made were truly life and death decisions. So my team and I, we committed to doing the right things in the very beginning, and it started with keeping our staff and our patients safe. But in the midst of doing that as my job, I also had to deal with it through my family. And, in May of last year, my nephew, his name is Michael, he's 27, he got COVID, and he died at 27 years old. So this is not just an exercise, it's not just an experience, that I worked through, but it's an experience that I lived through. And Michael was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young man in the prime of his life. And there is no reason that he should be dead today. So this disease does not discriminate. And so I think that's why it's so important for us to understand that we actually have a tool now to prevent future deaths, to prevent getting seriously ill from COVID. And that tool is a vaccine. So, the partnership between Patients Are Waiting and Union Community Care has been in existence before the pandemic. We are aligned in our mission, which is to grow more representation among healthcare providers of people of color, and to ensure that they are in the pipeline and supported to be able to go and change the world as doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals in hospitals and community health centers like Union Community Care. When it comes to the vaccination effort, we knew that we could do this together. We could be stronger together than either of us could be alone. So we were able to support Patients Are Waiting to provide these pop-up vaccination clinics in the community. So we are going to community, not expecting them to come to us. And we are providing vaccines by folks that they know, folks that they trust, in places that they trust. We're making it fun for families to come out and get vaccinated. It's not a scary thing. We want to make sure folks don't feel like it's a scary thing. And it is really part of ensuring that our communities stay strong and that they stay healthy. Well, the reasoning behind it is because we have a shared purpose. So when you have a shared purpose, it is really, it's not a question, it's a how can we make it happen? And it's funny, but Dr. Hamblin and I have never met in person. We talked many times via phone and via remote, but because of the pandemic, we just couldn't connect in person. But really what we're trying to do is the same. So it was a non-issue. As soon as we were in a position that we had resources available, we reached out to them. We were able to execute a contract for these services right away. And by not providing so much red tape that it makes it impossible for a small nonprofit to participate, we were able to have them, be able to start this work really quickly, and they've done just a fabulous job. The mission for more equity is part of what's core to us, and it's core to them, so we're naturally aligned. When you look at who has gotten COVID, communities of color have gotten COVID more, they have been infected more, and that has to do a lot with the type of work that we do. So not all of us have jobs where we get to sit at home in our pajamas and work and get paid. A lot of us have jobs, we have to get out in the public. We work in jobs where we're interacting with people, therefore we are more likely to be exposed, and that's exactly what happened. So I would just share that communities of color, we have been more negatively impacted, but we're strong. We have been strong for hundreds and thousands of years, and we will get through this. We will come on the other side. A lot of us will have broken hearts, but we will get through this. We will get through this. And I think do what you can, get vaccinated, make sure that you get the people that you love vaccinated, that you encourage your friends, that you get good information. And if you're not sure where to get information, come to Union Community Care. We have doctors, nurse practitioners, providers with decades of experience, and they live here in the Lancaster community. You can trust what they say. So come and see us if you have questions about the vaccine, and be part of this community as we move forward, because we will all move forward, and we'll do it together, and we'll be stronger.
Good morning. Wake up, guys. It's TCP in the morning.
Wake up!
Wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Wake up. Wake up.
Wake up!
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up! It's TCP in the morning.
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 TCP in the morning.
It's 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 TCP in the morning.
Good morning. Wake up, y'all. It's TCP in the morning with the morning tea.
Sing the song here in a minute.
TCP in the morning.
We're here.
We are here. We are here. We are here.
At the crux of it, it is Thirsty Thursday.
Oh, damn day.
We hope that you all had a magnificent evening. Glad to be here. Let's do this.
Welcome to the show.
'Tis Thursday. Want to welcome you to TCP in the morning, the best thing that you can have in your cup. Wake your behind up, brush your teeth, brush your ass. For those that don't know what brush your ass means, it means to clean your butt. I hope your butt is clean this morning. If not, I hope you are in the process of getting that butt clean. Folks, we got a jam-packed show for you today. But first, the Sarge.
Good morning, good people of the world. How y'all doing out there? Listen, I hope y'all ready for another great show, because you know we about to do it. It's our last day of the week.
Yeah, man.
But y'all almost there. You'll be there soon.
Yeah.
But anyway, I appreciate you guys. First time tuning in. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And don't forget to say those good mornings. We want to see those good mornings. Shout you out. Lady Al, what up?
Good morning. Thank you for watching and thank you for tuning in. Happy Thirsty Thursday. It's the last Thursday of the month, y'all. So listen, I'm so glad you decided to wake up and hang out with us today. We got a fantabulous show for you. And also, don't forget, it's going down this Friday as we support the ladies of Patients Are Waiting, hosting week 4 of the Health Equity Now Music Festival. So come on down to Christmas Addicts Community Center this Friday, 6 to 9. Get your flu shot, your vaccination, or your booster, and stay for the vibes. And hey, listen, Black people, I'm so glad. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And I just want to remind you, as we continue on our journey through our banned book series with Lady L, Your Life Matters. Ignore the subtle diminishing of your value in the media, in the justice system, in education, and in whitewash history. You are good enough. And let me tell you, these stories, they super good, ultra good. Let them know what we got going on, boss.
Folks, want to let you know that my name is Marquise Lupton, also known as DJ Quiet Storm.
DJ Quiet Storm.
One of 3 hosts, one of 4 personalities on this thing that you call TCP in the morning, the best thing that you can have in your cup. Melanated Media, the morning show, first of its kind, only of its kind, father of dragons,
Right.
unlocker of chains,
Yes.
brokerer of the black and brown.
Leader of the Andos.
Listen, you turn on this now. I want to watch Game of Thrones.
Hey, yes.
Game of Thrones Thursday at Casa de la.
Yo, hey, let's do it and let's clear out the garage so that people can have a place to
drink their beer flights.
That's right. So let's not forget about the voice of God. Give it up for DJ Double O. What up, bro?
Yeah, man, glad to be here on this Friday, Thursday, on our Friday, Thursday, man. I'm so excited. You know, we got Patient Already coming up tomorrow. I feel like it's been a really exciting week. I got people hit me up talking about, you need musical recommendations. I know it's Latin night. I'm like, y'all know I'm Latin. Like, I don't know, I got some spice up in here. I'm like, come on, man. But anyway, so happy to be here, man. It's Thursday.
Yes.
Let's get these people the news, man.
Yes. To those people that are just, the looky-loos, we see who you are. Say good morning.
Say it with your chest.
Right. Say good morning. We want to know how you doing, where you listening from, who you listening with. I keep on messing that up. Who you with?
Who you with? Now, don't be scared to say something.
I know. So, just want to let you know that, like I said, we have a jam-packed show for you today. But before we get to the rundown, Instagram, what is going on with y'all?
IG World, what up?
What up? And folks, share the stream.
Yes.
You should not TCP alone. Friends, do not let friends TCP
share to
alone.
all your
what
groups.
I found out about TCP
What you find
is
out?
that we're on like this list of black media outlets across the country.
Yeah. Tell them about that.
Oh my goodness,
Man.
it's organized by one of the universities out in New York State. And we're on that list. I have no idea how they found us. The director of this Black Media Initiative actually sent us an email, reached out to us. She wants to interview with us, get more information. But they have like a map of the United States, and everywhere across the country, they have clickable links where you can learn more about these Black-owned media companies that focus on Black community. And we on there. We're on the website. You can click us. We're in between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. It's crazy. You can zoom in the map, see Pennsylvania, and we're there.
We're the only dot in, you got the Philly dot, you
Yep.
know, and everything's happening in Philly. Then you got a Pittsburgh dot and everything that's happening in Pittsburgh. And then in the Kentucky part, you see little old,
Little us.
the dot.
Yeah.
You know, so
10 toes down, though.
Right.
Say, 10
Shout out
toes
to
down.
everyone that makes this possible. Because I mean, we could just be four people in here just talking to ourselves, high-fiving ourselves, but you all make
you're
this
great.
thing go. Right. You know, and our show for today. We're going to start the show talking about a stun gun is used on a student at a local high school. So we're going to jump into that because from what the officer said that it needed to happen. It escalated to that.
I don't know what's the difference between a stun gun and a belt.
Hey,
I mean, at this point, we might as well just have the teachers beating the kids.
Yo, I'm just saying.
And I think I'd rather have Miss Laura, who's with my kid all day, take out her belt than the school resource officer who is liable to murder my baby.
Stun gun, yeah. Also, folks. Well, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I tell you, I got some stuff today. We got some. Dang, we gonna cover all that, man.
Yeah.
I'm a grown man. I am a grown man. I'm sorry, but my son, no teenage boy. I don't need a weapon against a teenage boy.
Right.
I'm gonna hem you up.
Right.
Oh, you strong? Let me show you what grown man strength is, son.
Yeah. Also, there's a new Illinois law that bans hair discrimination. We talked all week about the different states and cities that are banning critical race theory or basically banning teaching about civil rights. So this is some good news where, hey, you can't discriminate against me because how the hair grows out of my head. Also, we'll be talking about Abbott Elementary and the record that is breaking. We are so happy about that. And finally, in Lancaster County, it has finally been it has finally come here, which we knew that it was going to. The book ban situation. So yeah, folks, we are going to peel back the layers of the news and give
Like
you
an
everything
onion.
you need, everything you want,
Like parfait. Everybody
Now I'm
likes
hungry.
parfait.
and everything you didn't know. So I believe it's time give the people.
Uh-oh. You guys hear
what
that?
they want. Just, oh.
Come on. Rock with us.
Yo.
Everybody needs some funk in the morning.
Yo, I wake up every morning, like I wake up, I'm like, oh, time to get the people what they. Yes, every morning.
That's why I get up
wake
there.
up. I hope y'all do too. Hey,
Time to get the people, yeah. Get the people what they want.
And that's the news.
With a shimmy.
Thanks for stopping by.
Remix.
Ooh, that was nice.
So, folks, our first story.
We got some good mornings to get to.
Oh, yeah, we do.
All the good mornings to get to.
Oh, yes.
No, they said don't have a good morning today. Y'all was ignoring them. Y'all was like,
oh, shoot.
It's time to give them the news. Y'all said skip the good morning. It's time to give y'all the news. I'm sorry, guys. We got so many hard-hitting stories for y'all. We just want to get to the juice.
Yeah, dig it.
Lisa, good morning. Talk, what up? Sabrina, good morning. Keisha, good morning. How you doing? She says, I'm excited to hear culture in the news. All exclusive juice.
Culture in the news.
Jennifer, good morning. Ahmed, good morning. Corinne, good morning.
And Ahmed, congratulations on your new position, general manager.
Yes, congrats.
All I'm gonna say is we're gonna stop down for a pop-up, make it happen. Boss.
Kyle Gay, good morning. Neville, good morning. Corinne,
Yes.
good morning. Glad to see you tuning in and watching. Lisa, good morning. She says happy TCP Friday.
Yes.
Yo, Keisha is with the stuff this morning. She's all over the comments. Yo, she's Jeremiah's. Good morning. Congratulations to Jeremiah's.
Right.
He just got an assistant coaching job.
Right.
The baseball team. Let's go. Hey.
Congrats.
Let's go.
All right.
You know what? This is why they watch TCP in the morning, because guess what? If you're watching WGAL, they're not going to give you a shout out.
So look, here's what we need you all to do, all right? Here's what we need you all to do. The African American Alliance, they are having a awards. And one of the awards that they are rolling out is Best Podcast. Now, I am not going to be a shrewd person and nominate ourselves, but to everyone that watches us, you know, I say, hey, if you feel the need,
If the Lord moves.
If the Lord uses you, it moves you to the point to nominate TCP in the morning.
We're going to drop the link.
For Best Podcast of the Year. I say, bring a friend so they can vote too.
Let him use you.
Let them use
Friends
you.
don't let friends vote alone.
Take your right hand.
Or your left or your lefty.
TCP in the morning for Podcast of the Year.
Preach.
And I'm just going to leave it there.
Good morning, Venus. Good morning, Rebecca.
Yes.
Let's see who else. Candace says, what up, TCP family? We're streaming from Punta Cana, DR. Hey, good morning. They in DR.
Yo, let them know. I don't know how to say TCP in DR.
We come on at 9 o'clock in
Well,
They said
Look, I just found out that bachata wasn't soup.
Oh.
All right, so I'm uncultured. I'm uncultured on the culture profession.
Yo, Ray Serrano said, I said it in my head. What up, Big Play Ray?
Yes. Good morning,
Let's see. George Lewis, what up? He says, good morning. Yo, let's go.
Yes.
It's time now.
Let's go, folks. Our first story brings us to a stun gun used on a student during disturbance at Dauphin County High School. So, folks, a school resource officer used a stun gun on a student at Middletown Area High School during a lunch period yesterday. And this comes from Principal Sato, who sent a letter to the parents. Sato wrote that several students were involved in a disturbance that required the use of a taser on one of them to quell the situation. Videos of the incident are all over social media, which Sato wrote can sometimes create more disruption and chaos. One video shows people attempting to break up a fight in the cafeteria, focusing on one student being held back. As that student leaves view, another student can be seen struggling with the school resource officer before the taser is brought out, used, and the student is detained on the ground. Sato said all students are safe and secure, and the issue is contained, he asked that parents allow the administration law enforcement to conduct an investigation into the incident. You can read the full letter here, and we will put the full letter in the comment section. So, folks, they tasing our kids now. They are tasing our kids. You know, we say this a lot. If you're scared, get a dog. If you're afraid, if some kid, even if he's taller than you, if this kid garners so much fear in you that you have to grab a weapon to subdue said kid, you shouldn't be working in that job. I keep on saying this. It's just like with firefighters. If you're a firefighter and if you're afraid of fires, you shouldn't be a firefighter. Mm-hmm. If you're afraid of dogs, you shouldn't be a dog catcher. If you're afraid of people, you should be a cop. Simply put. What you got, Sarge?
Oh, man. Lady, I'm going to let you go first because I have a whole lot of information.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. School resource officers are certified, sworn police officers, which is my first issue because I don't even want police to be policing the streets, let alone in somebody's school. So that's a whole nother situation. They're being armed with tasers in schools is an increasingly debated school safety issue. And so some of the issues that have come up just across the board with officers having tasers is that the judgment using the tasers, they've been used on younger children when it's not a life-threatening situation, but why would you be tasering a 5, 6, 7-year-old? Also, not only that, but they've had cops taser kids to wake them up. They fell asleep in class. They tase them awake. They've had cops tase kids because the kids just asked them to. Hey, officer so-and-so, go ahead and tase me. We've had that as well. So it's important for the parents and general public to know that not all officers are equipped with tasers. It is based upon their particular police district. Does the district itself have tasers? And if they do, then they make them available for the resource officers. However, again, it's important for them to use good judgment, which we constantly see time and time again that they're not necessarily using good judgment. And we also, again, we're talking about defunding the police. We're talking about taking resources away from the police stations. Why would we then want those same people in our schools? What is that teaching our children? It actually seems like it's getting them ready for more police interaction. Over to the desk.
All right, so I'm gonna throw out some dates here. December 3rd, 2021, January 28th, 2021, April 13th, 2019, December 11th, 2020, February 3rd, 2019, and April 2021. All right, these are dates where tasers have been deployed in schools. All right, going back to researching on the stories, tasers were designed to be non-lethal weapons, like a tool to safely subdue non-compliant suspects. All right, non-compliant suspects. All right, let's go back. Officer Kim Potter, you guys remember her? Yeah. Mm-hmm. She killed the young man when she thought she was pulling her taser, but pulled her gun. Yeah. All right, it's a pattern of sloppy, reckless, and deadly. It's a pattern of sloppy, reckless, and deadly use of the weapon involved in hundreds of deaths and injuries. All right, over the past decade, because of substandard and or inconsistency in the training for law enforcement, these accidents have gone to happen. All right, there was a study done by the USA Today and the Arnold Center for Investigating Journalism in Indiana University, found all this stuff. They said officers defied the best practices recommended by the device manufacturers. And they sidestepped basic use of force protocols. All right, so there's no accountability right now. Right. Because there's no federal agency that tracks how many people are killed or seriously injured after taser use by law enforcement, and nobody keeps tabs on how many law enforcement agencies adopt the dozen of safety guidelines recommended by the device manufacturers and other police training organizations. So since 2010, there have been at least 513 cases in which subjects died soon after police use. And this was, you can look this up on fatalencounters.org. It's a stat website that was created by a newspaper editor that wanted to get to the bottom of this. All right, they recorded. All right, so going on to find fewer than 1 in 3 officers have been trained in how to switch from the taser to the firearm. 1 in 3. All right, as of 2005, the Police Executive Research issued 52 guidelines barring the use from passive or fleeing suspects, barring the use on multiple officers on one single person. This use has been barred since 2005, all right, and requiring mandatory safety training, but they can't force it. So there's 8. So out of all 18,000 U.S. law enforcement agencies, no one knows what training's being done. And many times they're just issuing the officers the tasers. They're issuing people tasers, thinking they know what to do. All right. So in 2009, companies urged officers to wear it on their weak side. You know, you shouldn't get it confused. All right. But since 2001, there's been police officer confusion at least 16 times. So that's 16 people that have gotten shot that we know about at the least. All right. So it doesn't stop. Like, we're not training. You think safety officers are trained? You think they're trained how to use that taser?
No.
You know,
they're trained how to shoot it, but not how to properly use it.
Exactly. When most taser guns, when you shoot the taser, if you don't let go of the trigger, it sends a continuous shot of electricity. It's continuous. All right? And oftentimes when you see people getting tased, you see the cop holding it. You constantly hear that clicking. That's what's going through. That's a surge going through someone's body, paralyzing their muscles, their whole nervous system. Like, we're doing this to kids. That officer could have controlled that kid. All right, the kid walked the whole way around. Officer was there to cut him off. So you mean to tell me you can cut him off? Hold him. Maybe this ain't the job for you if you can't contain a 17-year-old kid in high school. You shouldn't be there because the other kid, they already had the other kid contained and going away. But what did you do? You couldn't control this one kid. All right? Learn how to control the situation. You can't go to weapon. You don't go to a weapon when it comes to our kids. That shouldn't be the thing. Hey, I'm going to tase this kid. You don't want to be compliant? No, he's not compliant. He's angry. His emotions are going everywhere. So here you go. Let me shock your nervous system.
I mean, but I'm confused about cops being in a school situation where they're not even equipped to have any knowledge of child development. So you're not even familiar with child development, but we're going to put you in a space where you're dealing with developmental issues and concerns and behaviors. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to tase a 7-year-old for acting like a 7-year-old? Are you going to tase that 13-year-old for acting like a 13-year-old? What is the point of tasing a child in school? What are these children doing? Because we've all been kids. We've all, for the most part, been to somebody's public school somewhere in America and we haven't seen anybody get tased or anything like that. And I went to what our guest called the other day, a metal detector school. Nobody ever got tased. Nobody was even bringing weapons to school. It was like a intervention for prevention. But that's what they do for kids in the inner city. And now we have these kids, and it's like there are no alternatives. There are no conflict resolution. There's no mediation. There's no, it starts with an R that they started doing the last couple of years, not reunification. But yeah, just having all of those other things. There's 1,000,001 things. Restorative justice. Restorative justice. We've been talking about restorative justice for like 20 years. How is having police in the school restorative justice? How are we helping these kids have better emotional development and behavioral development with putting them square in the face of danger? They go home and hear their parents and families talk about the ills of dealing with the police. And then y'all put them in schools with them. And then expect them to react and be friends, and this is officer friendly. We are so far removed from officer friendly. Officer friendly never existed. You know what I'm saying? And now we're here, these people are in our schools, and they're not helping. And then you're saying you're not even tracking what they're using. You're not tracking their use of force. You're not tracking, how many times they're tasing people. You're not tracking if they're going to these actual meetings and if they're actually learning and internalizing what they're supposed to learn. You're not tracking none of that. You're telling the American people, hey, they got these things, and Yeah, they got it. And what are we doing to maintain? What are we doing about the sustainability? What are we doing about the long-term impacts on the communities that's being policed?
We have a comment. Ray Serrano says, I've been tased. It ain't that bad, LL joking. I think safety resource officers are necessary if the school is in a high crime area. I don't agree with them being uniform, though, dressed as a teacher or a student. He said also some kids are stronger than others. I'm sorry, but some kids do need that level. I was one. I think the officer needs some actual training in child development as a premise for that position. And he said meant as a counselor, not student.
I gotta partly disagree with that because I don't think there's ever a situation where you need to tase a kid in school unless you're dealing with like a life or death situation.
Yeah, if he's about to beat you up,
if it's this kind of
you gotta take that beat down.
Altercation, like as an adult and with other adults there, like if it just has to be something where y'all roll on young boy,
roll with him, dump with him,
just go grab him and stop him.
Right. Then just roll on him. Like that's just what it is. Like we're here. You escalated it to this point where now multiple adults need to restrain you, but not to the point of basically shooting him with electricity.
Yeah.
I've actually had this conversation with a couple of school resource officers as to, the need for them to carry their gun in the school and the need for them to have their taser on and be uniformed. And there really wasn't a great response. Like, he's like, well, if someone comes in here with the gun, and I'm like, okay, yeah, has that ever happened here? And is there a way that you could get access to your gun in your office? They're really not looking at the perception of themselves in the school with that gun. Right. And it's actually more of a threat to walk around all these students with a gun on your hip as opposed to having it somewhere safe. It doesn't make sense to me.
Even with the taser, like last month in Catskill, New York, a man was set on fire for being tased. He got tased and he went up in flames and died in the burn unit. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, these let's use non-lethals or anything like that. Like it falls on the individual. And to Ray's point, Ray says that he threw a ladder at a principal and in full rage mode and says that they should have tased him. I'm going to disagree.
Yeah, no.
Like
kids throw stuff. I mean,
he should have been restrained. Yes, they should have definitely hemmed him up. But to shoot a kid in school, like what does that do to that kid's psyche? Just having police officers in your school and then they treat the kids like suspects.
But it's getting them trained and ready for who and what they are in American society.
Unfortunately.
Okay, think about it this way. This school in particular that we're talking about was in Middletown, right? Yeah. So there's a little bit more brown people population and things of that sort. What are we doing to train the officers so that they don't need to use tasers? What happened to safe crisis management? You know what I'm saying? Where's that at? How are we physically restraining people so that we're not causing bodily injury or harm? Not just, the child's outrageous, they need to be tased to calm down. Let me tell you something, these parents calming these kids down every day. And they ain't got tasers. I mean, there are some of that hard, but let's not go there. But there are parents who are dealing with these kids every day. There are teachers who have been dealing with these kids for generations. It sounds like cops then probably aren't equipped to be in schools, and they seem to be the cop out. We don't know what to do. We can't handle it. Call police. The police can handle it. No, that's a cop out. You are pretty much saying, I'm done with this. Throw them in the jail. I'm done with this. Harm them. Instead of what? Using your skills. Using your talents. You paid $40,000 for that degree. You better use that psychology. What did Piaget tell you about them kids? You better get it together. You're teaching a curriculum that's completely irrelevant to their daily lives. And then go and turn around, switch up the curriculum in the middle of the year and say, hey, we getting ready for a state test. All of these things
are culminating factors that all have an impact on these kids' behaviors. All of it. And now they're stressed during these test times over a test that they're not going to see the funding from anyway. Because it's meant to decide if we should build another prison or not. I don't know. I'm letting it go. Over to the desk. What y'all got going on?
Yeah, it says badly trained officers. All right, even in your situation, badly trained people. If you think about the people that we putting in our schools, all right, who we putting in our schools? Do we have the right kind of people? You mean to tell me there's not some retired dad out there that we could hire?
Remember they put them dads in that school.
When you put dads in the school, like we have to get away from this militarized state.
Yeah.
Like always wanting the police to do everything, wanting the police to come and say, come into schools, come do this, come do that. Like,
we got to realize police aren't heroes.
Yeah, they're not. It's their job to protect the state, to be their public servants. All right, but when we use them as we militarize them, we make them like they have to become the enemy.
Right.
They're punisher. You know what I mean? They got to be the fist. We got to deter it. We got to do this. We got to do that. When in all reality, we should have fathers in those schools.
Right.
Because when you have fathers in those schools, they're going to treat these kids like their kids.
Right.
And you know how these kids are going to respect them because no, you're giving off different respect when you have kids that age. All right, you're treating them differently because all kids are emotional, especially at that age.
Yeah. So and good brother Ray, like I challenge you to think about this. Had you had more gentle interactions in school, like just imagine what that does to one's trauma. Instead of reinforcing, oh, you're a bad boy, you're a bad boy, you're a bad boy. Instead of reinforcing that, and then you as a teen, oh, I'm a bad boy, I'm just going to lean into that. If there was some kind of more gentler, a way to communicate with you, because I seen your posts. You say that, you were a bad kid and everything like that. You're the bully's bully. That was your thing. But you were still a very intelligent kid. And people could get to you if people just spent that time, instead of criminalizing you, if they spent that time, I guarantee that trauma would have expelled differently.
Manifested itself differently.
Exactly. Sarge.
All right, guys. So we're going to move on to our next story. We got some comments. Let's go to the comments, yes. All right, so Ray also going to say, where's it at?
He said they couldn't restrain me. That incident with the guy that combusted in flames, poured hand sanitizer over himself, that was straight up negligence on the officer's part. And to that point, these are the professionals. If somebody pours, and I was going to get to that point, so thank you for bringing it up. If somebody pours hand sanitizer over themselves, common sense tells you I should probably not electrocute this person, because hand sanitizer has alcohol in it. Alcohol is what? Combustible.
For him.
But also, then you would have to expect that the officer would know that part of the science.
But training.
Do we have proof that they paid attention in training?
Look.
Do we have proof that they are really certified and that they ought to be handling these weapons? Because we did have a trainer that pulled out a gun and not a taser. And she out here training entire districts.
Yeah, so that's exactly why the stun gun should not be in school, because they're not properly trained. If they don't know and have the common sense, okay, let me not tase this guy because he has hand sanitizer on his body. They don't have the common sense to not tase a 15-year-old kid and the fallout from that. So
you guys know some of the stun guns actually have cameras on them, like a lot of them. So I'm curious to see, like, why haven't we seen footages from like stun gun cameras? Like, especially think about the number of suspects that have hurt themselves, that have died, fleeing, then getting tased while fleeing. When you are clearly, it's banned to use a taser on a fleeing suspect. It's barred. Why do we see it all the time? Why do we see people run? Cops tase them, bang.
Or shoot them in the back.
Yes, why? It's barred.
And yet they don't go to jail,
Yes.
or it's like,
Yeah,
administrative leave for 3 weeks.
My thing is the police association can ask for money every year, right? They can ask for money every year, but you can't keep accountability? There's no accountability. You wonder why it's all different, all crazy, all across the United States. There's no set. You guys have, all right, you guys have get-togethers at hotels to buy new what? New equipment? To buy the newest tactical gear, this and that, but you guys can't come to common ground to save lives? Anyway, all right, so we're going to move on to our next story. Our next story, it comes right here in Lancaster, right here in Pennsylvania. All right, so during an Elizabethtown area school board meeting in early November, a burly man with an army green baseball cap covering his head and a thick dark brown beard sprouting from underneath his face mask walked up to a microphone to give his public comment. "Hello," he said. "My name is Dan Matthews, Park Street." He proceeded to read a line from Jesse Andrews' New York Times best-selling novel, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, which, he said, his 11-year-old daughter checked out from the middle school library. The line explicitly mentions performing oral sex on a female. Dramatically holding the book up, he said the line was absolutely disgusting, called for the superintendent's resignation, and asked for the board, "How can any of you justify this being in this school right here?" He ended his remarks, and several people in the audience attendant meeting clapped in support. So after the public comment session ended, the superintendent, Michelle Balliet, apologized to Matthews, and the book was pulled from the library for review. Later, district officials began to wonder about Matthews' appearance at the meeting. The novel hadn't been checked out of the middle school in the past year. Elizabethtown Area School District, Troy Poster said, in fact, the district believes Matthew doesn't have any children enrolled in the school district, and that Dan Matthews of Park Street, that's believed to be a fake name and address. The man who identified him as Dan Matthews could not be reached for comment. According to Portier, the man hasn't been back to a board meeting. So in the past, that dude Matthews had been mingling with the current Elizabethtown area school board members, Stephen and Danielle Lindemuth. Remember them names, Stephen and Danielle Lindemuth. They are school board members. The Lindermans are conservative activists who attended former President Donald Trump's Stop the Steal rally in D.C., the insurrection. And though it's not clear whether they participated in any violent activity that day, and they wouldn't discuss Matthews. All right, they said that, Stephen couldn't be reached, and Daniel hung up on a reporter when they identified themselves. So if you guys learned there's been like a whole national movement from Central York to Bucks County, San Antonio School District that ordered 400 books to be pulled off. The American Library Association of Intellectual Freedom said it saw 60% more book challenges in September 2021 compared with September 2020. And those are just the challenges reported to the ALA, such as those as the Penn Ridge School District in Bucks County and York County.
Becca
Now,
says the Lindemuths are terrible people.
Yeah, I'm going to get back to the Lindemuths, all right? So the Lindemuths, all right, they scheduled this bus trip. All right, the Lindemuths scheduled this bus trip. All right, they're fake. They went to the insurrection. They came back home. They were inspired. Okay, local officials, like local GOPers after the insurrection, some local GOPers in Elizabethtown, actually, they quit the GOP party. They came back, quit the GOP party. You know what they did? They came back and it emboldened them. I'm going to run for office. I'm going to do this. To where now Stephen Lindemuth, you know what he is? He's an election judge. He won. He ran unopposed. Well, he was running unopposed, and then one guy tried to jump in at the end, but of course it's too late by now. All right, Lancaster County is 81% white. You know that, right? Lancaster County is 81% white. How did they both win? They both should be jailed for sedition. All right? Danielle posted all kinds of, the election was fraud, the election was false. Sedition refers to the act of inviting a revolt or violence against a lawful authority with the goal of destroying or overthrowing it. That's what they're doing. They're in these roles of power. How? We need to get them out of there. I think if you do things with a bias, and you clearly have a biased opinion, right. You clearly show your support for a certain thing, for this, for that, for this, for that, you do not need to be in certain positions. An election official, on the school board, he's an ex-pastor. I'm sorry, he's a former pastor, and she's a church secretary. How does that work? Guess we can't check the books because why? No tax week.
Because they burning them.
So my thing is like this is close to home. All right, these books aren't it. They're trying to start a movement. All right, this is like warfare tactics. Yeah. It's warfare tactics. You send little spurts out to get the temperament of where you're at. All right, let's start with this book about sex. Let's start with this book about race. Let's get the Holocaust out of there. You know what I mean? Like you start. Where's the stopping point? You get people riled up in each community. Get out here, take these positions, and then soon we're going to have a civil war.
I mean,
we're going back to pushing people out again.
These are what you call fire starters, right? You send people into places to start a groundswell, right? You start the conversation, and now it was that one person who thought they may have been alone, right? There was people that used to clap for him, right? So there are people that obviously support him. Now what are they going to do? They might get together. They might meet, and now they might actually take action. Even though he might have been a plant, right? That kind of action is the kind of thing that starts a groundswell and just starts people asking different questions.
We got some comments. Y'all are, along with Sarge, y'all are on fire. So let's take it back up to Jen's comment. The implicit message is that the kids don't deserve to be trusted. And then Ray says, "Oh, absolutely. I didn't have a dad. I had gang members as my guidance. I definitely was thrown by the wayside. I was a lot to handle, and you're right. I wish I had more people in my corner. I thank the few people that helped me along the way. And to those people that helped you along the way, shout out to them." Keisha says, electric chair tactic. Exactly. Sabrina says, the cops probably did training via PowerPoint. Yeah. Or via Zoom. Jen says, how about de-escalation training? And then says, you want to militarize the police? Then give them the same training too. De-escalation, rules of engagement, etc. Keisha says, sizzling people on some vengeful BS. And then Jen says, such a hot mess. This is happening all over. Talking about that gentleman at the meeting. Mm-hmm. Rebecca again says that Lindenwoods are terrible people and says half of Elizabethtown should be burnt down. And then continues to say one of the other school board guys elected failed to pay $82,000 in taxes. And that's crazy because I had a friend that was running for school board and they came at him for like an overdue book or something for during his master's degree program, and told him that he couldn't run because he had like an overdue book balance or something like that. Crazy. Jen says Timothy Runkle, Christy Murphy Moore, et al. Are all doing their best to keep them in check, but they need more help. Rebecca says they hate people who aren't their people. They host regular meetings and have had Smucker multiple times. It's important for people to get involved, use their voice, and fight back. And then Jen says, please know this is essentially 45's grassroots organizing amongst themselves.
Yeah, it's guerrilla warfare tactics. And what I hope they're being investigated. Like Stephen Lindemuth, I hope you're being investigated.
Probably not.
We need to get out. This is why we have to fill positions. Yeah. You cannot be white and be silent. All right? You can't be. If you disagree, you disagree. Right. Run for office. Do something. Don't allow people who are wrong to control the narrative, to control everything. You can't. How are they not being investigated, all right?
Because it's systematic. it is systematic. Again, folks, this is just speculation right here, but if I could take a guess, the chief of police and the other police officers in Elizabethtown, if I could just take a guess, some of them actually agree with the Linda moves. Mm-hmm. Some of them actually are promoting, and some of them probably either want to go to the meetings or have been to the meetings. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to investigate something that they support.
So we can show up to the meetings? I just want to say, Stephen Lindemuth also went on to say that about the insurrection. You know what he said? You know, where people were injured, you know, people died. He goes, there were just a few bad apples in the crowd. Like, we didn't watch it on TV.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't witness it. Like, we're stupid.
Looking at all them ghetto people. Like, oh, y'all are so ghetto.
That's it, right?
So ghetto. Y'all are
Ratchet.
So ghetto. Right. Climbing up those walls like that. If y'all moms ain't teach you better, not have to climb on museums.
Same people doing that. Same people saying all them Black Lives Matter protests.
Right.
They need the army in there on them.
But you never seen Black Lives Matter scale a government wall and steal and kill people. Like people died during that. Lady L, let's have you chime in before we go to our next story.
Oh man, there's a lot. I was just trying to highlight the points that I wanted to talk about.
Go ahead, take your time. Take your time, Pastor.
All right. So I want to talk about just some of our local schools, our local areas that are impacted or making a ruckus, like Bucks County. So Bucks County, their school district sent a letter home requiring educators to remove all library books with content referring to gender identity, saying that these topics should always involve conversations between the student and the trusted adult. Well, if the teacher ain't a trusted adult, then who is? I'm confused. And I remember back in the day, I was actually certified as something called an askable adult, which I was certified by Planned Parenthood to have conversations with teenagers about sex and their bodies. Right? Did that 3 days, about 12 hours, things like that. But if y'all already defunded Planned Parenthood and got rid of them, then who are we going to send to have conversations with the kids?
Where are they supposed to get their free condoms from?
All right, so then, not just that. Central York School District, they also had a ban. However, it was the students that protested their ban and got it overturned. San Antonio, Texas, they've been ordered to take 400 books off their shelves. It's crazy. Actually, so the American Library Association Office of Intellectual Freedom said that it saw 60% more book challenges in September of 2021 than it did with September of 2020. And that is being led by conservative parents who believe that some of these things just shouldn't be taught to their kids. Something that I thought was really interesting was that at an Elanco, what's that, Eastern Lancaster? These things. Elko, there we go. Elko. School board meeting. They had an issue with a graphic novel called Lighter Than My Shadow, which is a book about eating disorders and mental illness and overcoming. Somebody at that meeting said the book should be torn apart, thrown out. But here's the thing, we're talking about taking away books that improve critical thinking. Imagine giving a child The Hate You Give, one of those books on the list of banned books, The Hate You Give, and sharing that. You know what else has been banned in Lancaster at some of these school districts? Brain Pop. Are you guys familiar with Brain Pop? Have you ever heard of Brain Pop? It is this funky little website, and it's this man and his robot friend, and they take you on a journey. Depending on the topic, it could be science-related, math, health and wellness, finances. This man and his robot, they go through it, and they help you journey together. Brain Pop has now has been taken away. It usually runs for their educational videos for kids in kindergarten through 8th grade. Parents have complained about transgender rights and Black Lives Matters being mentioned on the website. And so they've taken Brain Pop away from Elanco students. from the whole district. And it's like, you do know that they're covering masses of stories and concepts. You might as well just say, don't come to school. Because there's going to be something that you don't like that you think might be kind of sort of offensive at some point. Like, Brain Pop talks about so much stuff. The stuff that they have for kindergartners isn't the stuff that they have for third graders. The stuff that they have for third graders isn't what they have for sixth graders. So then why would you take away something for something so small and minute versus the larger, more grand scale of all of the positive that it's putting into our children? So I just wanted to share some of those things with you because I can believe that it's happening, but it was just a little disheartening because these are our neighbors. This is in our backyard. Like we can drive and see these people in our community, see them at the Giant, at the Wegmans, at the Whole Foods. We'll see them there, see them at Target. You know, so I think it's great that we need to be having these conversations. They've even heard from parents in Mechanicsburg who had an issue with in a dark wood because it includes what they call disgusting scene. They were upset with the hate you give. Couldn't tell you why. And the title in itself is about the hate you give. Also, usually when books are challenged, which is I thought also was interesting, it's because of one sentence or one page taken out of context. Parents typically don't read the whole work before citing concern. So for all my conservative parents out there, you trying to ban these CRT books or whatever you're calling them, please read the whole book. Read the whole book and continue to tune into TCP in the morning as we go through one of my favorite banned CRT books every morning. We're going to go through it together. But yep, over to the desk.
Well, over to the desk. That is all I have for this story. Sarge, you have any
No.
passing thoughts? All right, well, Lady L, if you could take us to our next story, please. And while you do that, let me get to these comments. Jen says there were militia snipers brought in and were on the rooftops when there was a protest in E-Town last year. They didn't want it to become a BLM riot. And then Rebecca says it comes from higher up the food chain and says, I would not advise for your safety you going to the meeting, talking about Sarge. And then Jen says white silence is violence. Rebecca says they are not being investigated. Ray says silence is compliance. Jen says, I love that, Lady L. Askable. Rebecca says the amount of assault-style weapons on display in E-Town on the regular at the George Floyd rally, Pride March, even Election Day. Jen says they're kids, and Rebecca says she is right. Elanco, Eastern Lancaster County, Garden Spot. Jen says, heaven forbid, kids see themselves in complex situations in books. Nyla, good morning, Nyla. She says, well, they have their kids not watch the news anymore, too. Everything in Brain Pop is what they see and hear about on a daily basis in the world we live in. Shame on those closed-minded people. Absolutely. Rebecca says, every time these idiots push to ban books, I purposely go out to Aaron's Books and Lidditz and order the books that are being banned and gift them to teacher friends for their classrooms. And then Nyla says, my children encouraged their school to have a book club, and they started with Stamped. And then Theodore, good morning, says they were reading of Mice and Men to us in third grade,
yeah.
skipping over the N-word every other chapter. And Keisha says their behavior is given a pass. We read Sounder, and Sounder had the word coon in it.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that, and I don't know why my teacher thought that this was cool, to the point that coon was one of our spelling words. Like, yo, you talk about Jesus flipping the table?
You should be able to retroactively get that guy fired. We gotta be able to go back and get him fired.
There was no hotline. You couldn't call hotline and report.
Right, CRT.
Yo.
How you making the black students feel making coon a spelling word?
My mom flipped out. She was like, how is this a spelling word? How is this? How? Yo, yes. And we went to school that next day in the morning, and she gave her name was Mrs. Valutis. She got remarried, so she's under a new name now. But she was like, she gave her all of her mind and was like, you don't understand, you know, what this word is and everything. And after my mom went on this 5-minute soliloquy, the lady was like, well, you know, it's short for raccoon.
Oh.
And my mom was like,
Oh, you don't even know.
You're going to give me that? Like that's your explanation? You know, so yeah. That's a little bit of story time before we get to
Like my thing is, like you always hear that too. Like these people that come out, like, oh, I want to stand up there with my rifle. This ain't gonna become no Black Lives Matter riot. Yeah. Yo, you guys are so tough. But what are you gonna do? Shoot everybody?
Right.
What are you gonna do, tough guy? You really need a gun to control a crowd.
If you're scared, get a dog.
It is.
Lady L.
Turd.
Our third story. Our third story at 9:00. You can see that we said we're going to take our time.
Talking.
And let it breathe today.
Talking. All right. And you know what? It works well with my CRT book quote for today. Your life matters. On all the topics that we're talking about. We're going to keep this going. A U.S. man has become the first person in the world to get a heart transplant from a GMO pig. And we were just talking about, see, I told y'all that GMO blood, yes. Genetically modified pig, yes, they gave him a heart, y'all. And I told y'all was coming at me yesterday about the blood. They gave this man a pig heart. David Bennett, who's 57, he's doing well after the experimental 7-hour procedure in Baltimore. The transplant was considered the last hope for saving his life, though it is not yet clear what his long-term chances of survival are. Doctors at the University of Maryland Medical Center were granted a special dispensation by the U.S. Medical Regulatory to carry out the procedure on the basis that Mr. Bennett, who has terminal heart disease, would otherwise have died. He had been deemed ineligible for a human transplant, a decision that is often taken by doctors when the patient is in very poor health. The pig used in the transplant had been genetically modified to knock out several genes that would have led to the organ being rejected by Mr. Bennett's body. For the medical team who carried out the transplant, it marks the culmination of years of research and could change lives around the world. Surgeon Bartley Griffith said the surgery would bring the world one step closer to solving the organ shortage crisis. Currently, 17 people die every day in the U.S. waiting for a transplant, with more than 100,000 reportedly on the waiting list. Dr. Christine Lau, chair of the Department of Surgery at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, was in the operating theater during the surgery. He's at more risk because we require more immunosuppression, slightly different than we would normally do in a human-to-human transplant. How well the patient does from now is, it's never been done before, so we really don't know, she told BBC. The possibility of using animal organs for so-called xenotransplantation to meet the demand has long been considered, and using pig heart valves is already common. However, the recipient on the occasion, in 2021, surgeons in New York announced they had successfully transplanted a pig's kidney into a person. At the time, the operation was the most advanced experiment in the field so far. However, the recipient in that occasion was brain dead with no hope of recovery. Sounds like a waste of money to me. All right, guys, yes, so it's coming. It's coming. Look at technology. Look at what, the aliens have given us today. No, I'm kidding you guys, but seriously, medical technology is advancing so far and so fast. What do you guys think about using animal parts to replace human parts? If you are in need of a lung, a liver, or a kidney, and it comes from a pig or a cow, how would you feel about that? And I wonder what about people who have dietary needs, right? Like, I already don't eat pork, I don't eat beef. Then do you not give me one of them animal parts? Right? I don't know. Let's see what our gentlemen over at the desk think, guys.
Well, to piggyback off of that, there's also,
I like the way you did that.
no pun intended. There's also a story coming out of Alabama where a pig's kidney was used and a pig's brain was implanted in a brain dead patient. So I mean, this is something that we're here. Like, if these animals are here and if we're using them for nutrition, I guess why not use their brains and their kidneys and their livers and so forth, especially if they have the same kind of functions. I mean, do it. Let's do it. And then we'll probably get into people injecting themselves with cheetah DNA to be faster. Injecting themselves with some or eating like gorilla testicles so that they can be stronger.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Ray said, "Give me a gorilla, silverback one, organs."
So go ahead, Sarge.
Yeah, look, almost 107 as of August 12th, 2021, almost 107,000 people are waiting on the organ transplant plant list. And more than 93,000 Americans are on the kidney transplant waiting list right now. All right, so why not? I'm sure the pigs were grown, genetically altered. Like we all know that.
Yeah, they're GMO pigs.
Yeah, think about all the pork chops in the world. Like, there are way too many pork chops. And you mean to tell me all these pigs they go through immaculate conception? They're being farmed just like what's that fish? The what now?
Tilapia.
Yeah, just like tilapia. All right, so why not? Here we go. Let's get these kidneys out there. Most people wait 3 to 5 years at most centers, and some even longer in different geographical regions of the country. So it all depends on. I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Yo, these vegans are going to be just like these anti-vaxxers on their deathbeds. These vegans going to be like, "Don't you put a pig heart in me."
But look, it's not even.
I'd rather die.
Yes, absolutely. Don't put that swine.
But it's an organic animal. It's organic.
It's not organic. It's genetically modified. It wasn't even a real pig. It came from a petri dish. No.
Exactly. So it's not like
what's
real.
Next? You're gonna do 3D printing for my heart?
Yo,
they are doing 3D printing for parts.
Yo, they got 3D printing guns.
Yes.
They got
and they're 3D printed houses.
Yes, like what?
We need one of those. Can we do a 3D printed house? There's so much land out in Lancaster. Take that land right off of like Y Bank or something and build a 3D house.
Man. Maybe. Jen says they think they're there to maintain order. We saw what that got us in January 6th. And then William says, Sarge, problem is that's what they do in Kenosha. That's what they did in Kenosha and Rittenhouse. And got away with it. Nyla says he must really love bacon. Poor Wilbur PETA is about to be all over this. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, she went off in the comments.
Ray says, have y'all watched The God Committee in Netflix yet? No.
Oh, no, I have not.
Keisha says completely
frozen. I started it.
Right. Keisha, you may be getting attacked by Russia. They've been saying the last couple days that there's going to be cyber attacks. And because you're in Philly, you're in a major city, so Russia may be attacking you right now.
Yes.
Ray says, give me a gorilla, silverbacks, one, LOL, organs. Sabrina says, honestly, I think this will save lives. Viable organs are in short supply. People suffer on waiting lists just hoping someone who matches them dies. Nyla says, Spider-Man started all this mess. And then Lisa says, here comes the superhumans. I'm going to say this. Had this option... I'm going to preacher mode. Had this option been available for Brother Q, then he would not have to hold those people hostage. As the city watch, Brother Q could have went to the zoo.
Go on now.
Himself a gorilla.
Don't hurt nobody.
and transported that for the transplant to happen. No, but seriously, like yes, this can really save lives because I mean, how many people are actually volunteering to be organ donors?
No, because then, from my understanding, they don't try to revive you.
And that's the urban legend out there. Oh, they don't revive you; they just let you die.
And don't forget, if you're like me, I stay at home when I have time. I like to stay at home and watch reruns of my show, which Samara Moore, Criminal Minds. Mm-hmm. And we watch these episodes, and we see people doing this, and we see it going on. And I've lost my train of thought.
This really reminds me of what is that movie with the puppets? Happy Time Murders.
Oh.
Where the lady.
Oh yeah.
Mr. McCarthy. She had.
She got shot. It needed like a liver.
Yep. She had a puppet liver. So this reminds me exactly of that. Before we get to our next story, unless anybody else has some commentary, Sabrina says, PETA kills more animals than anyone. And Gary says, good morning. You don't want any of that land. That beautiful land you see is old dumping grounds for Armstrong flooring asbestos. In true Gary style, would not expect anything less.
In the face. Take that. How you
well,
like that?
then in right American form, then that is perfect land for some BIPOC community. That's what they do with it.
William says gene editing is the next step. There are people experimenting on themselves right now. It's called CRISPR. Yeah, I actually saw an advertisement for that. For gene editing,
but they've kind of been doing that because they were doing that with pregnant women. You can have this. They can go ahead and take some of your placenta or what have you and test and see if the baby's going to have any defects or anything like that. And then they go in, and then sometimes they can fix the defect before the baby's born while it's still incubating in your womb.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm not rich enough yet.
That part. What kind of health insurance do you need to have for that testing?
I'm not rich enough yet.
No, I'm gonna tell you this.
Super baby.
What we're about to see is a bunch of 6'10" white LeBrons come out.
Why they all shoot like Steph Curry?
But I'm concerned about overpopulation. Seriously, we're already here. We're already talking about we don't have enough space, overpopulation. Where are people going to live? We already have a crazy number of homeless people. Like, we just have a lot of issues going on. And now what you're telling me is that we're going to be taking animals that we already have complained about, that we ain't have enough space to be farming animals in the first place. But we're going to take some animals and then have them be farmed for our purposes of using their parts for ourselves to elongate our lives, and we still got to eat and maintain life.
People aren't procreating like they used to, though. We did that story like the
in the negative.
Right, like we're not. People aren't having 4, 5, 6 babies anymore.
Well, what did the capitalists think was going to happen?
Speak for yourself.
Yes, Sarge got all the babies.
Had all the babies and done. All right, let's use past tense.
I mean, it's just it's.
Now, I don't know. Y'all shouldn't be sitting together because Sarge might be too fertile. Y'all might need some more space.
Look.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm not that. No,
my shop is closed. Shop is closed. Closed up. Ready to go.
All snipped up. Snipped up. Threw away the key.
So,
no babies here.
Want to let you know that TCP in the morning is brought to you by Patients Are Waiting this Friday. This Friday is the Health Equity Festival, music festival, and it's Latin night, folks. Again, Boost Mobile is going to be there. Get yourself a free tablet. There's also a bunch of services like rental assistance. They're going to be there. LIHEAP. Get your heating bill paid for and taken care of. Folks, if you don't go to get boosted, come for the tablet, come for the food, because soulfully, woo, my God. And the services, like, just pop out. On Lady L.
Yes.
No, matter of fact, it's on me. I'm sorry, folks.
It's on me, baby.
It's on me. Matter of fact, Here we go. Conestoga Valley School District warns it's approaching critical mass with a bus driver shortage. Now, this comes from our beloved Lancaster newspaper, and it says, the Conestoga Valley School District could soon face a shortage of bus drivers due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The school district is approaching a critical mass of bus drivers unable to drive. School district officials have prepared 2 plans in case the situation gets any worse. One scenario would involve reorganizing and redistributing routes among available drivers. If we are short 1 or 2 additional drivers, they are going to reroute some routes. A second worst-case scenario would involve middle and high school students temporarily shifting to virtual instruction. So, with that, the Eastern Lancaster County School District, they're also experiencing changes due to their school bus shortage. The Eastern Lancaster County School District had to make changes because it doesn't have enough school bus drivers. So students in 3 schools were dismissed early yesterday. They were all really short on drivers yesterday morning. We're short by 5 going into the runs. One of the drivers had to make a double run. So the district will shift to virtual instruction for all students beginning today, and will continue we'll continue Friday, and Monday is an in-service day. So a decision will be made Monday night whether in-person classes will resume on Tuesday. Now, folks, with all that going on in Conestoga Valley and in Elanco, in New Jersey, a school district in New Jersey begins to dismiss students early for a month because of staff shortages. A South Jersey school district will shift its secondary schools to an early dismissal schedule for the next month to deal with staff shortages. Students attending Lakeside Middle School, Memorial High School, and Millville Senior High School will begin early dismissals this upcoming Monday and remain on that schedule through February 25th. Staff shortages caused by coronavirus pandemic and the recent surge from the Omicron variant have created headaches for schools statewide and across the country in recent months. A shortage of available substitute teachers has also affected daily instructional goals. The early dismissal will allow the district to address the shortage by utilizing our current employees so that we are delivering consistent instruction. And to Taekwon's point in the comments section, absolutely, this could be coming to SDOL soon. I'm looking at this. The superintendent already put in her resignation letter.
This is true.
So she's on her way out.
She's on her goodbye tour now.
Yeah. It's a lame duck now. We have a lame duck superintendent right now. And this issue, like this is a convoluted issue with teacher shortage on top of staff shortages, on top of this variant. Just
bus drivers are the undervalued members of the school system, like of the school. You know what I mean? Like they get the least amount of attention. They're in the most dangerous situations. Those buses are tiny inside. Yeah. COVID is, you got to drive with your bus windows open. And you think that's going to get COVID out of there with a bus full of kids? Right. Come on, they were at risk the entire pandemic.
Right.
But no one ever cared about them. Like I'm glad they're either really they're taking time off, or I'm not glad that they're really sick, but I hope they're actually taking time off and using their power to get themselves some money.
Yeah.
Like it's not only it's a nationwide epidemic right now, as far as with shortages on bus drivers, substitute teachers, and teachers. All right, first of all, we all know that they were getting hammered prior to the pandemic even beginning because they weren't getting paid enough. All right, so then you put them in a situation where they have to risk their own health to come in and teach for the same amount of money that you were giving them before the pandemic.
Right.
All right, so not going to work. All right, so the U.S. Transportation Department, Federal's Motor Carrier Safety Administration announced Tuesday it is allowing states to waive the portion of the commercial driver's license process that asks applicants to identify under-the-hood engine parts. The hope is that by relaxing the requirement, more people will apply. Governor Tom Wolf's administration has to sign off and is weighing the option, the spokesperson said. The Through March 31st, applicants for school bus driver licensing will be able to skip that part of the exam. Applicants will still be required to pass all the safety elements of the exam according to the new release. So they're trying to make it work for bus drivers, because it's even in the Manheim Township School District. There are different bus drivers because people are out. I don't know why. Why would you want to keep putting your life at risk every day?
For that amount of money.
My mom love the kids.
Yeah, why? You may love the kids, but I love the kids. It's not that much enough to kill myself.
I'm just confused about where are all those concerned parents that were just at the school board meetings fussing about these books? Where's that same energy? You were fussing about some books and curriculum, telling the teachers what they should and shouldn't do and how they ought to be teaching. But now we have a real concern about your kids actually getting to the building. And you ain't got nothing to say? You're not talking about carpooling? You ain't talking about how Cindy got a big 13-seater van? You ain't talking about the neighbor who is a coach and got a big van? Do you want your kids to go to school or not?
Or having the resources to just rent a van.
Right.
That part. Let's talk about how the money from your houses, from your property taxes, pays for the school district, which means that you got enough money that all of y'all could come together. Shoot, somebody might be the manager at Enterprise. Somebody in your community probably actually owns that franchise. And instead of you calling up Bob and saying, hey, Bob, we got an issue with our schools. What are we going to do? Y'all only show up to talk ish when they're trying to teach your kids about their bodies or race. And now when it comes to your child actually getting to school, now it's crickets. Yeah. Now you don't have nothing to say. Now you're not showing up and showing your butt at school board meetings, trying to come up with solutions. Y'all didn't even have solutions for the bed and other books, other than, well, just take them off, don't show them. So what are you going to do about your kids getting to school?
I think that this whole bus driver situation is just a dog whistle. I really believe that the administrators and the superintendents, they know the real issue here, and the real issue being that there's a teacher shortage. And why is there a teacher shortage? Because they are overworked and underpaid. Like the teachers that I talk to, almost all of them got a second job, and almost all of them work over the summertime. They'll get their teachers' pay, for being off during the summer, but they make sure that they have some kind of job to maintain said revenue during the month. So it's getting to a point, or it got to a point where now teachers are like, yo, F it. When I worked at Blue Cross, there was a bunch of former Philadelphia teachers that were working for the insurance company. Like teachers are like, no. For what we have to go through and for what we're getting paid, it's not worth it because we are undervalued. The kids have too much have too much control of what's going on, and not enough parents care. And I think that this bus driver thing, it's really a dog whistle because each superintendent, each administration has failed their teachers with the dismal pay, and now the teachers are fighting back. This is what it looks like.
Bus drivers are a thankless job, fam. It's a thankless job, and it's super tough. Like, kids are real crazy on them buses. Like, I don't know, like...
I used to be a kid on the bus.
Y'all know I worked for, Hazel Jackson and a bunch of schools. Yo, kids are really crazy on the bus. Like, bus drivers come in and they complain to the teacher and they complain to the principal, and there's really no rush. But there's nothing that happens to those kids. And that bus driver got to get up tomorrow morning, pick that kid up again. You know what I mean?
Not
like,
punch him in the face.
On top of dealing with all of that stuff, man. Like, yo, there's a very heavy burden that they have to carry that no one acknowledges, and it goes unreciprocated.
It must be because we're in a suburban district, because I'm confused about why these kids ain't getting kicked off the school bus. Because that was a thing for me. Like, because I caught the bus to school. And if you disrespected the bus driver, if you got too out of hand on the bus, if it got too crazy, you would get suspended off the school bus. Yeah. The bus driver had pink slips, write you up, and you can't get on his bus. And your parents, you got to figure out how you're going to get to school, because they won't even give you tokens to catch public transportation. It is then just on you and your parent to figure out how you're going to get to school.
Yeah. I got kicked off of my bus in high school. I got kicked off the bus, and then I had to catch the Manheim Township elementary school bus for the rest of the school year. Sabrina says, bananas are genetically modified, so are seedless grapes, and so on. William says, not to sound too crazy, but the overpopulation is being controlled by the wealth divide. Watch the movie Elysium, The Real Future. Elysium, The Real Future. Rebecca says, just as well, those schools also have high COCOS numbers and refuse to install mask rules. COVID numbers, high COVID numbers, and refuse to install mask rules. Taekwondo says this could be coming to SDOL soon. Williams says other states are calling up the National Guard to drive buses, work in nursing homes, and even substitute teach, socializing the labor for privatized businesses. Yeah. Rebecca says, how does early dismissal solve a bus driver shortage? You need the same number of drivers, whether it's noon or 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Just speaking the truth there, Rebecca. Gary says, bus drivers, no teachers are a problem nationwide. I say we get to angry, desperate housewives, soccer mom, no mask wearing, mandate loving parents to go do those jobs. Give them something to do. They all believe that they have a blood type and they cannot get COVID. Put them to work. That's just the truth. that's
You know you ain't worried about that COVID. Go drive that bus and get that money.
That's just the truth.
That's Uncle Gary now.
Yeah. Rebecca says, amen, Lady L. Key, what's going on, Key? She says, here they are reimbursing parents mileage $10 per day round trip for less than 12 miles or $20 per day round trip for less than 24 miles.
I'll drive some kids to school for that.
And Key, you're out in Pittsburgh School District.
Yeah. Sabrina says, you can kill my kids with a virus, but I'll be damned if they read anything I deem offensive. Nyla says, some districts are not over the busing companies. We contract our bus service, and they in turn contract the drivers. Most of the drivers are old, retired, and need to be cautious with their health. Plus, the drivers have no say about the behavior of the students because they are not district employees. Melissa Nolan says, so true, I was a bus driver, and it's hell. Williams says the bus companies are just doing the same thing restaurants are doing. They are maximizing profits over everything. Staffing is a straw man argument. If you pay and respect your employees, you don't have staffing issues. But now they can use this as a way to renegotiate contracts and raise prices. And then Melissa Nolan says no home training, but that's what's wrong.
Fuck them kids.
And like for myself, like we had ambiguous bus. Like we had Catholic High and we had McCaskey. So like nobody really had any real jurisdiction.
It got lit on there. Hey.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I know it was lit.
Oh my God, yeah. Until I got a little too lit, and then Langston Catholic was like, "Okay, we're going to take jurisdiction over this bus.
Listen, we're going to send you with them,
and you're going to get kicked off this bus." And that's exactly.
I don't like what they do. They just put their bad kid on somebody else's bus.
Yeah, they did.
That's what happens.
Like we're not responsible. We're going to give you to somebody that no one's responsible for.
But I will tell you this though, it was super boring. I was on the bus with a whole bunch of Manhattan Township like kids, and I mean it solved the problem. Like I was quiet.
Dang, I'll be good again. Kids is like, I'll be good again. Just want to go back to my bus.
Luckily, we ended up moving. But like, yeah.
I think the biggest problem when it comes to the buses is parents not teaching their kids, you better respect that bus driver.
Right.
Like, you need to respect adults. Like, I feel like it's the big thing. Like,
honestly, parents just send their kids to the bus stop. Mm-hmm. They don't even wait there to meet the bus driver to fill them out. None of that. There's none of that going on with parents. So I can agree with you too, Sarge, on that one. Yeah.
Because
plus, no, good. Plus the schools, like they really don't reinforce their rules
on the bus.
It's like the bus is just a free for all.
Yo.
So
see you on the bus after school. Knuckle up.
You have no idea how many fights happen on buses right after school.
Mm-hmm.
So folks, we got 33 minutes left. So we're going to keep it moving and get to our next story. We wanted to get to this story yesterday, but
and the day before.
It got delicious yesterday. So we're going to talk about this story today. Sarge, Taco Bell.
Let's talk about Taco Bell. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
All right, Taco Bell asked itself, shouldn't leaders in the Taco Bell system reflect the people who eat and work there? In an effort to break down potential barriers and further diversify its franchise system, Taco Bell announced today that it is rolling out Taco Bell Business School in partnership with University of Louisville.
So they're hiring drunks and stoners.
Let's go. Let's get it. It's a first-of-its-kind franchise training program to elevate restaurant leaders as entrepreneurs and break down barriers to franchise ownership. Taco Bell Business School will be supported through the Yuma Center for Global Franchise Excellence in partnership with the University of Louisville. Yum! Taco Bell's parent company launched a center with the University of Louisville's College of Business in 2021 to unlock opportunities for underrepresented communities through education on the business of franchising. The Taco Bell pilot program will be leveraging this partnership to create pathways for restaurant leaders to advance in their careers while helping their brand build a more diverse franchise system. We know that fast food jobs are often seen as a stepping stone to other careers, said Mark King, the Chief Executive Officer of Taco Bell. He said, and we're trying to change that. Through the Taco Bell Business School, we want to show our ambitious restaurant leaders how their careers could flourish at Taco Bell and see opportunities that they may not have previously even considered. We want to make foundational changes that positively impact our diverse team members' growth. This program will teach them skills they need to climb the ladder, whether that's moving up to the next level or even owning their own franchise one day. The 6-week business boot camp will teach their top performing restaurant leaders the fundamentals of franchise ownership, leveraging existing curriculum from Yum, the Center for Global Franchise Excellence, infused with a Taco Bell twist. The classes will provide accredited education and training on critical business and entrepreneurial skills, from financing, growth, and development to marketing and HR. Taco Bell has partnered with its dedicated franchises to share their expertise and inspire future franchise owners. So, Tina Reagan, the president and CEO of franchises K-Mac Enterprise, said, when I first started working in a Taco Bell restaurant in 1983, I thought I would only stay for a few months. Little did I know I would end up staying a few decades and eventually managing and operating 319 restaurants. As someone who started as a team member, I know firsthand that franchise ownership can be an intimidating path, but it's been very rewarding. I'm proud to work for a company that is working to build a path to franchise ownership for restaurant leaders from diverse backgrounds across all levels. All participants will be given a scholarship to cover tuition for their program and will be recognized internally within the Taco Bell systems for the accomplishment. So, how about it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Taco Bell. We need more businesses like this. McDonald's, do this, inspire people. Sometimes we know life happens, some people plan, some people want to work there their whole lives, but most times some things happen in life and you keep this job. And if you're good at it, you get promoted.
Right.
But then there comes to a level where do you go from here then? When you reach the max, where do you go? You don't want to look like you're stuck. You don't want to be stuck.
Right.
So here goes a great way. You know how to operate a store. You know this business inside and out. You know what? You should have your own.
Yeah, I love this. It's just not confusing. I'll say this: that we should see more of this, especially in the realm of HBCUs. I love the fact that the University of Louisville will be offering this, and I really do believe that restaurant franchise ownership should be some kind of major.
Access to ownership needs to be easier
in college,
franchising, right?
Like there should be some kind of lane, some kind of educational process that you should go through to learn this. I worked at the Manor Shopping Center McDonald's when I was younger, and that family owned 3 McDonald's. They owned the one on Oregon Pike, They own the Manor Shopping Center one, and they own the one by McCaskey. And he had 3 daughters.
And they all ran one.
And
I remember.
And they all ran one, and it's like they didn't learn that from school. You know, they learned that from their father having the resources, because he did go to school for that, having the resources, and then passing that information down. When I think about Caruso's franchise ownership, same thing. They have franchises in different cities. They didn't learn that in school. That was knowledge passed down. My good friend back in the day, Felicia Mazzola, her family has franchise pizza shops. They didn't learn that in school. They learned that from knowledge being passed down. What I'm getting at is that one of the few ways that we can truly learn about franchising as Black and brown people is going to have to be through some kind of educational process set up. So I'm really hoping that this continues, and Popeyes and KFC and Long John Silver's, all of them get into us and begin to build this lane, this avenue for Black and brown ownership with these franchises. Because I'm gonna tell you this, if I did this, like those refund checks that I got for school, like, oh, I'm putting these away.
Mm-hmm. Get yourself a Subway.
If I would have knew then what I know now.
Yo, and I'm gonna have a Subway. After I put up the Subway, I'm gonna get a Chick-fil-A. But now you enter that into the educational process, and now kids that thought that the only way that I can, do this is to be rich. Now it's creating a new avenue. Yeah.
I think that this is a great idea, and I love that it's short term, right? Like, we're talking about 6 weeks to, get the skills that you need to build your business, build your franchise. And I mean, these franchiseship skills that you get in like service jobs like retail and food services, they are so transferable. Like, you just really learn all kinds of skills that will help you to advance in other parts of your life. The patience, the kindness, the consistency, just certain skills that you get from something like this. So I think it's awesome. And they're going to be learning about the franchise ownerships. And so they're going to be learning about like the entrepreneurial skills, the finances, growth and development, marketing, right? Because your Taco Bell here in the suburbs is going to be different than the Taco Bell in the inner city. That's going to be different than the Taco Bell that's underground at a train station. That's going to be different than the Taco Bell that's at the mall, at the food court, right? So just teaching them all these different skills. I mean, I think this will be great. And especially when you think about fast food restaurants, predominantly they're usually found in lower income neighborhoods and communities, which means what? The people that are in those communities more than likely work there. So then how are we giving our employees who work here, how are we giving them the skills to advance? How do we say thank you for being such a great employee? How do you say that? How do you do that? You say that by teaching them enough skills so that they can build themselves up within your business and take over and move and progress that business forward. That's what we want to see. And not just that, but I love this, but it helps give potential for new socioeconomic development of Black and brown communities, which I think is really what we need. And if you watch this show, if you come here every morning, watch the show, I'm always talking about economic development for our people. And this is how it happens. Not only can I work at Taco Bell, but now I got the skills. And not only that, the confidence to go out here and do it myself. I did these 6 weeks. I know how much money to save up. I got a plan to save. Hey, look, I done found myself a mentor. Hey, look, 5 years down the line, I'm ready to open up my store. And imagine so many Black and brown people now having access to this. This is how we create wealth. This is how we build up communities. This is how we get out of that whole idea like, oh, Black people, we just poor and broke. No, we just don't have the knowledge. And with this, we can. Sarge.
And this is why, as a parent, it matters what you teach your kid, what you feed them. All right? If your kid has an idea, all right, that lemon stand, your kid wants to do nails, makeup, from that young age, get them into business planning. Teach them how to do a storyboard from that young age. Make it fun for them. So then as they grow up, it's easy. It's easy. Yo, kids today, a 16-year-old can start off making $16 an hour today. All right? That teenager can work let's say working at 25 hours or 26 hours a week, or 26 weeks a year. 25 hours a week for 26 weeks a year. That student can save about $21,000 by the time they get out of high school, if that's just for 2 years. You can finish school with $21,000. What can you do with that? You can get your own franchise going. Yeah. That's a down payment to do that. Yeah. That's a down payment to do whatever you want to do, whether it's college, whether you want to travel, whether you want to invest in yourself. But if you've been doing this stuff with your kids since they were younger, when they get older and they have this money, you know what they're not going to do? They're not going to go blow it on dumb, frivolous things. All right? Because they have it in their mind what they want to do. They have their storyboard that you taught them as a kid. They have everything, their business plan, their model. So it's on us as parents to make it happen, you know?
Yeah. I look at this, I mean, like, I'm looking at this as this gives my girls another opportunity to do something else. You know, something that we look at outside of the box. You know, how many franchisees do we know? You know, I don't know too many, you know? Again, this gives a new lane and new life to folks that thought the only way that they can work in these industries was on the service side of things. To get to the comment section, Gary says Taco Bell's dropout rate will be 90% after students find out it's not really ground beef. Is Taco Bell owned by the Jim Crow-loving racist owner of Red Lobster and Olive Garden? I believe it's owned by Pepsi, if I'm not mistaken, PepsiCo. Neville says, love what y'all doing. William says, well, there we go. No, owned by Pepsi Yum Foods Group. Gary says, Taco Bell is on the black boycott list. Remember this? Taco Bell says employees can wear Black Lives Matter masks after a worker was fired for wearing one. And then George Lewis says, I hope they have follow-up or apprenticeships. Not everyone can learn in only 6 weeks. Last thing we need is black and brown owners in debt because a 6-week program left them out to dry afterwards. It's a good point. That is a great point, George. Thank you for that.
I was also thinking about, the tentacles of this. You know, once you teach people about running a franchise, franchising your own business becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So all those people that might, work at Taco Bell and then take those principles and develop their own franchise process for their own businesses, I think this is a great thing. And like I said, the tentacles from this can be really, really long lasting.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then I'm thinking about, all right, well, what if some friends go into this? 4 friends, and they're like, all right, yo, let's take this together. All right, we're going to learn how to do this Taco Bell thing. We're going to start a Taco Bell, and then after we learn how to do this Taco Bell thing, then let's look into other things. Let's look into a Checkers. Let's look into a Quiznos. Let's look into a Subway, and let this become our thing where it's us 4, and now us 4, we're managing 6 different franchises.
Looking to a Blazing Jays.
That part right there, it becomes collective wealth. So folks, we are going to move on to our next and looks like possibly final story. Lady L.
Yeah. All right. So Illinois has become the newest state to act against hairstyle discrimination under a new law signed by Governor J.B. Pritzker, Senate Bill 817, also known as the Hawkins Law, prohibits schools from issuing policies on hairstyles associated with race or ethnicity. It directly responds to the continuous injustices in dress code policies and protects targeted Black youth in Illinois who often are punished for their presentation. The Hawkins Law is named after a 4-year-old Chicago boy, Gus Jet Hawkins, who faced discrimination
as he was told his braids violated the dress code. Hawkins' mother, Ida Nelson, raised awareness of the incident and its negative impact of stigmatizing children's hair. For us, it's bigger than just hair, she said. Our hair is an extension of who we are as a race and is deeply connected to our cultural identity. This is one huge step towards improving the mental health outcomes of our children, and it ensures that they will be in healthier learning environments. But the work must continue to proactively create safe spaces in schools where children of color are accepted completely. And this is what Mom Ida Nelson had said to news outlets. Wells spoke about the importance of having Black culture and hair celebrated versus tolerated. Illinois' governor believes the new law is in addition to the progress already made to allow students of color to embrace their heritage. Columbia College Chicago is one of the many schools in Illinois that highlights their anti-discrimination and harassment policy in their student handbook. According to the policy, Columbia will not tolerate harassment or discrimination based on religion, race, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression, disability, ethnicity, and more. Columbia encourages students, faculty, and staff of all backgrounds to express themselves. So, yeah, that's the story. So I'm glad to see that it definitely sounds like it's not the Crown Act, which really protects us in work environments from hair discriminatory practices. This is something new that protects our children specifically in school. So think about when we sat there and watched, you know, the young man who was wrestling and watched that lady cut off his locks. Or some of us that watched that Colin Kaepernick special and watched how his baseball coaches were like, yeah, you're out of range. You can't have your hair like that. You got to cut your hair. Like, things like that, especially in a school setting. A law like this sets precedents to say, no, you can't do that. Their hair is a part of their identity. Would I come to you and say, you know what, I don't like your arm. Your arm doesn't make sense. Let me go ahead and fix that for you. That's essentially what they're doing to our children in concern with their hair. And I can imagine, because it's already a whole situation being a Black person in your hair, because the thick and coily texture of for anything hair is trying and is a whole experience in itself. So to have to go to school and be condemned about your hair is something that definitely is something that none of our children should have to deal with. So shouts out to the people of Illinois. Shouts out to Sister Ida Nelson for showing up and showing out for her baby. And because of her, many babies in Chicago and other places in Illinois are going to be looked after with a law like this. Gentlemen, what do you think?
Sarge, you want to take it first?
I just want to say that
Mike's off.
August 13, 2021 is when a Chicago mother won the fight to ban hair discrimination in Illinois. You know, so finally seeing it come to pass after all this time it's great. You know, but once again, this is one of them laws. It should be across the board. This should be in the Constitution. Right? Like, it's a shame that we have to use the verbiage, but we need to put this stuff in writing. It needs to be in legislation. Like, if you're an American citizen, you need to abide by these rules, right? You say we got to abide by the Constitution. The Constitution needs rewritten, or we need to add some things. All right? Because states don't care. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I mean, this just reminded me of Catholic High. Like, we had rules that was targeted specifically for Black and brown kids when it came to hair. You know, my mom had to come in and advocate for multiple students, telling them to leave us alone because the way that we wear our hair doesn't affect our academic record, nor should it affect anybody else's. Nobody has that big of a distraction. What do you say about the kids with the mohawks and that have spikes in their hair? You know, if you don't harass them, then don't harass these kids.
Black nail polish.
Right. And what it came down to was that, okay, well, their afros can only be but 7 inches high. So they realized took rulers in our heads. And if we had hair above 7 inches, they would say we would have to cut it. So then we got smart. Just braid it. just braid it. Yep. And then it became a point. Then it became a point of issue. Oh well, you can't have hair touching your collar. And then but what about the girls? So eventually, but we had to fight tooth and nail because the way that they looked at afros, the way that they looked at braids had a negative connotation, and they didn't want that represented in their school, especially kids that were on sports teams.
It sounds like they shouldn't have black students at their school.
Well, Langston Catholic wasn't made for black students at the beginning. That's
the fact of the matter.
Yeah. Gary says, as the mullet and the white man's jerry curl and the ducktail makes a comeback, it's sad that in 2022 they are effing with our hair. That is so true. That is so true.
No, I'm just saying that mullet is definitely making a terrible comeback.
Yeah.
And it just screams like country right wing Republican.
I think you just bring back that Jerry curl talk. You can pull it off.
I'm not going.
Let's stop the dreads. Let's go Jerry curl.
You're not gonna follow the drip to me.
So folks, to get to our seventh and unfortunately final story of today. It brings us to Abbott Elementary on ABC. If you haven't watched Abbott Elementary on ABC just yet, do yourself a favor and watch it. Watch it today. It comes on Hulu, and I believe ABC has an on-demand option as well. Do yourself a favor and watch it. I have it on DVR, so we watch it and then skip through the commercials. But Abbott Elementary is taking the world by storm, according to a recent ratings report. The freshman series has become the first ABC comedy to quadruple its ratings since its premiere. From the mind of Quinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary is one of ABC's newest shows that has found almost immediate success on the network. The mockumentary-style show follows the teachers at Abbott Elementary School in West Philadelphia as they deal with the common occurrences and mishaps that come with teaching and dedicating their lives to educating youth. The series was apparently worth the green light from ABC as the first rating reports reveal it to be a smash hit. Per Deadline, the show has quadrupled its ratings since its premiere and is the first comedy series to ever do so on the network. That's what I'm talking about. Black Girl Magic. The outlet reports that after 35 days of viewing across ABC's linear and digital platform, the series premiere shot up 300% in the demo for a 2.4 rating and 7.1 million total viewings. I love that. Yes, all the energy. Like I'm seeing more people write articles about it now. I'm seeing more people post about it now. And I love it. I love the fact that this is happening. Quinta Brunson, if y'all don't remember her, y'all remember before skits really became like a thing. Y'all remember the young lady? She was at the movie theater, and the guy was ordering popcorn and everything like that. And he was like, "Yeah, let me get some candy." She was like, "Ooh." He's like, "Let me get a large popcorn." She was like, "Oh." He's like, "Let me get a large soda." She's like, "Oh, you got money. Let me get it all. Let me get all that." That was her. That was her. And she was on a sketch comedy show on HBO as well. So now we're seeing her in this realm as an executive producer and whatnot, a creator, a writer, and I love it. The show's hilarious. Again, Abbott Elementary. You should watch it, Sarge.
I will watch it. I will give it a watch. We need more shows like that.
Yes.
And the reason people don't watch is because people don't know. You know, it's like us. We live in the era we live in. Okay, it's still surprising to hear people go, "Hey, you know, I didn't know about you guys. I'd never heard about you guys. You know, I've been looking for black stuff, been looking for things in the culture. Where'd you guys come from?" Well, I'm doing this for a couple years now. All right, you know, it's just like, well, we're here, you know, and it makes us happy that they actually started watching, you know. And once you start watching, you'll realize that, man, this is wholesome. Yeah. You'll get something out of it. You know, you're not just watching just to watch. Yeah. You know, so
that's crazy. Somebody called TCP in the morning wholesome one time, and I was like, "We wholesome? I would not. I mean, I guess my kids they want to rent a house talking about some brush your teeth, brush your booty. That's what they say.
That's as real as it gets, and then from there it's just
right. Because Shiloh definitely be like, I can say bad words here. She run you a list of households where she can say bad words, and our house is one of them.
Wow.
So it's real funny to see her use cuss words in a sentence. So, but of course, you know, we're not scolding our black girl magic. We want them to be as free as they can be. So yeah, Abbott Elementary is a phenomenal show. And even to see Quinta just progress, because like you said, Handsome Husband co-host, she was one of the comedians on Black Lady Sketch Comedy Show. That has like 2 or 3 seasons on HBO. So go on ahead, check that out. And she's hilarious. And it's crazy because it's almost like she got her notice when she did that random viral video. Yeah. You know, and I remember watching that video like it was yesterday, because I remember thinking like, oh, I wish I was at the movie theater to see somebody acting like this, because I would die. Like, and I just wanted to be at the theater in line behind them just watching like, oh my goodness, this girl act like she ain't never been nowhere. And I wanted, like, and so for her to move on and progress from that, I think it's phenomenal. So shouts out to her for that. And also shouts out to her for just then inspiring black girls and women. You know, people are always watching and looking when they know what you do and where you've been. And they like to see how you progress and where you're headed. So shouts out to her for her just being able to do this. Like, it's not hard making it. It's not hard. It's not easy making it to Hollywood. Right. And she in a big network. ABC, that's Disney money, y'all.
To Javonia's point, she said, I love the show, but it's underrated. It definitely is. Like, it has it has a real good cast
and
as well.
It takes place in Philly.
In Philly, it has Chris from Everybody Hates Chris.
Mm-hmm.
He's a grown man now.
All grown and stuff.
Yep. Moesha's stepmom.
Like it's hilarious. The principal, the black woman principal.
Oh my God.
Like,
she the principal?
She's the funniest person.
She's a spinoff.
She might be.
I thought this whole time I've been watching, I thought she was from the district, and they just had her have an office in the building.
She's the principal. So folks again, that is Abbott Elementary. One of the reasons why we highlighted this story was because of black and brown content is consumable. You know, gone are the days where was the stereotype that, you know, oh, well, there can't be a black lead, there can't be a brown lead. Black creatives, they only appeal to black creatives. Brown creatives only appeal to brown creatives. What this is doing, it is continuing to shatter those stereotypes that movies like a Black Panther have began to shatter. Stuff like this, it continues to shatter that, and it continues to open up the avenue for shows like this to end up on larger networks, because then our shows are looked at as assets rather than looked at as risks. So, Sister Brunson, keep on doing what you're doing, keep on going on with the goings on, because us on a lower level are certainly inspired by what you are doing. And on that note, Lady Allen.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, listen, don't forget it's going down this Friday. Los Monstros over at Crispus Attucks Community Center for week 4 of the Health Equity Now Music Festival. So come on down, enjoy the salsa, the bachata, the merengue, all of that stuff. And also come and get a plate from Soulfully Famous. I'm not sure about the cuisine just yet, but if you go back and replay yesterday's show, I'm sure that she mentioned it. So guys, listen, thank you for stopping by and tuning in. Hey, make sure that you share the stream. And don't forget to visit our website, www.tcpnetwork.com. See what's going on. Don't forget Trinice has interviews posted and blogs. So yeah, you don't want to miss anything. So go ahead, visit our website and listen as we continue to explore these banned books. Don't forget that your life matters. Ignore the subtle diminishing of your value in the media, in the justice system, in education, and in whitewashed history. You, my brother, you, my sister, are good enough. Power to the people and power to the men at the desk.
All right. Hey, listen, as we slow it down again, we've done another great service to the great community. We appreciate everybody out there. To the baby dolls, the baby boys, the princesses and princes, the kings and queens, to the he's, the she's, the theys, the we baby. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I'll always get up after I fall. And whether I run, walk, or have to crawl, I'll set my goals and achieve them all. Remember, better days are coming. They're called Saturday and Sunday. I'll holler.
Folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Again, do not forget to come down to Christmas Addicts tomorrow, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the Health Equity Music Festival. It's week 4, man. We are on the other side of this thing. We got week 4 tomorrow, week 5, and then week 6. And that is it. Want to give a special shout out to Patients Are Waiting for putting this on for us. Not just for the surrounding Southeast community, but for the Lancaster community at large. Again, folks, want to thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you do not have anything to do tomorrow evening, and if you don't find yourself down at the Health Equity Festival, you can always come back, tune into us, 6 p.m., where we will be talking about the event, highlighting what's going on down there, as well as having 2 more impactful interviews. Last week's interviews were wonderful.
Yes.
We had our special host, Nina Clolitty, doing her thing. So again, folks, cannot thank you enough for listening. Cannot thank you enough for watching. We will see you on Monday on TCP in the morning.
Morning, wake up, guys. It's TCP in the morning.
Wake up!
Wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Wake up. Wake up.
Wake up!
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up! It's TCP in the morning.
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 TCP in the morning.
It's 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 TCP in the morning.
Good morning. Wake up, y'all. It's TCP in the morning with the morning tea.
Sing the song here in a minute.
TCP in the morning.